Hello everybody, welcome. Today I'm going to show you an out-of-box experience of Morphos. So Morphos is an Amiga-like distribution that runs on PowerMacs, and that's all I know about it. We have here the full out-of-box experience after installing it, well, besides running the VNC server, because I was struggling to capture the screen with my capture card, just because the way PowerMacs interact with DVI to HDMI adapters, they think you're connected to a TV, and then you're sending only this interlaced signal and the monitor doesn't synchronize, the capture card gets lost. So I'm just gonna iconify here the VNC server, and I decided that that's going to be the best way to capture the screen. So let's start with what you see. So when you boot, you get a clean desktop. After installation, you get a few icons on the desktop, and here on the top you can inject your CD, adjust volume, date and time, and you can load here. I can see some modules for this bar. So let's say that I will load drive lamps, and now I know when I'm reading the hard drive. And what else do I have? You can get a better view of what you see, of the options. You can customize them. Quite fascinating, to be honest. Very customizable. And see, copyright 2020, so it's still in active development. You get here icons. My Morphos seems to load here basically what you're seeing, plus some other icons that look like system folders. You have a trash can, a usual concept in operating systems, that when you delete an object, it just is moved to this folder instead of being deleted automatically. You get a boot partition, and this I know I saw in setup. It's because macOS needs, open firmware needs a boot partition that can be read by the firmware, so that is where the bootloader goes. Work, this is your empty partition where you can store your data. RAM disk, the system comes by default with a quite generous RAM disk, and if you look at it, you're using only 163K of it. And if you go to information, you can see that it assigned 1.6 gigabytes to the RAM disk. Funny that this computer has basically 1.75 gigabytes, and you have only 150 megabytes assigned to the system, and the rest is a RAM disk, which means that this thing sips memory. System, though, this is where you install applications, and we have a bunch of things pre-installed here, and my VNC server. One thing that I struggled to understand is that, for example, here you don't get the menu bar unless you right click. It's quite confusing, but once you do, you enable the menus. When you right click the desktop, you get this ambient menu. You have basic system options, just like the Apple menu on a Mac. So for example, if you click my Morphos, go back to that same folder, the menu disappears, which is quite annoying. Execute command is like run in Windows, where you can execute a command and its arguments, but you cannot load the documents apparently. So if I enter here a name of a document, it will not do it because it's not going to open the application, but as you can see, you can load URLs, and so maybe it will open whatever is identified as a URL or a binary executable one. New shell opens, well, a sort of terminal, And let's see, D doesn't work. ls, oh no, help, okay, help. I don't know what I'm doing, but let's try if config runs, tab gives me the option to autocomplete folders, but it doesn't give me the list of commands. Let's try again D, cd env. Aha, so cd change directory, and you can see here the directories are separated by column. I think the same path format was used by the classic macOS, but I cannot recall for sure now. What do I have next? About. So about ambient, so that would be in the macOS, for example, about the Finder, yeah? Whereas if you want to go about the operating system, you have to go to about Morphos, and then you have here the information. I'm going to register it later on just to help support of this product, because I honestly don't like the monopolistic reality of the world today. So however I can help, I will. Edit, you get copy and paste. You can select everything, and you can invert selection, which is cool. Let's suppose that I want to select everything except work, so I can come here and then go invert, and my selection is inverted. The color schema for selection doesn't have much contrast. I hope this can be sorted later. Icons, I can select a new drawer or sort by, and none of the options available here. If I have an icon selected, then I can come to information. I can choose an icon, the kind of storage that we have, free space, file system type, creation date, and so on. Can take a snapshot or unsnapshot of it. I don't know what it does, but I really don't think I should be clicking around. Put away is probably eject. Format would be to format. Yeah, you pick a file system, you know, the classic format command. You can open in a window. You can open the location straight in the shell, which is useful. We can look for a document. This screen looks very cool. I don't like too much the new search functionality that you type and it starts searching away. I prefer to enter the parameters of my search and then have it find what I need afterwards. And this is really cool. You don't need to be memorizing the search syntaxes of different operating systems, because the most common options are here. And you see there are tooltips that if you point the mouse over, it will describe you what the option is supposed to do. Very nice. In utilities you get exchange, and that seems to human interface device output. Let's see, show interface. Aha, you can enable and disable caps locks and scroll lock remotely. I don't know what compose and cannot do. Mixer. Aha, you can adjust the balance and the volume of your sound device. My computer doesn't have any input, so there you have it. VNC server, so that is what I have running here. And let's iconify this again. So this is what Exchange does. System monitor. This is my CPU load, and that's probably VNC encoding video. And out of the 150 megs of memory, I think 95 are free, or maybe that's 95% free of I don't really know, is this used or free memory? Oh, I'm probably using 95% of the memory. System details, it's a Power Mac, that's a mirror derived OS, 3,6. We have the CPU count, the computer is on, true. Have the detail of each CPU, the processor type, it supports AutoVec, and that's what Apple calls velocity engine, cache information, and so on. System log. I guess application related events would show up here. Doesn't matter, right? And format disk we already checked, and find we already checked. In settings, you can see ambient settings. Ambient is basically, doesn't look like a control panel, it's quite incomplete, but you can check the different wallpapers. You can adjust wallpaper just like in any computer. Yeah, if it's centered, it's stretched or zoomed, and so on. You can enable some background shuffling. I guess you can adjust Windows color here. Yeah, background color. Icon display. You can pick a small or large icon size. Two-state PNG icons, interesting. You probably can you can have a different icon for an item that's selected or not. I guess an application developer would need to prepare this. Miscellaneous, the startup directory. I'm not sure if this is an application that loads during boot, just like Windows when you add this to the startup program group. Path to default icons. Probably if I go to this folder, I will be able to see all the icons of the system. Let's check. I'll double click system, go to prefs and presets. So that's probably a hidden folder. You can adjust what happens when you open the command line. So see, there's already here probably the window size, the shell, and so on. Panels, I don't know what this is supposed to do. Lister. Aha, so here you choose the attributes that you want to see when you open a new file window. It seems you can customize the font, you can have a background for the windows, so MIME. So the MIME content types are all listed here, so you can probably assign a helper application. Yeah, so basically a different action for each MIME type as you wish. In window, what do you get? That's interesting. You can customize the toolbar based on what you need to use. And down here you have you can customize what shows here on the bottom of the screens. So you see that size, directory numbers, and so on. This is what you set here. This is really cool. A high level of customization possible here. Keyboard. So binding command keys. It knows I'm using an Apple keyboard, or is prepared for it because I have command key and control keys differentiated. Bookmarks, I guess you can bookmark files and see them somewhere. We're gonna find it out later. This thing of having to right click to see a menu is super annoying. Let's see ambient movie. Wait, we were here before, right? Yeah. So now we have ambient magic user interface configuration. So it was built in December, so it's very recent. PowerPC Morphos. You can donate to the developer. Let's see, screen resolution. You can choose where you open the screen. Here my 3D card, the resolution, font size, some configuration here. How you group the controls, how the buttons look like. It's extremely customizable, quite impressive. And it's so fast, like everything happens immediately. It's probably the fastest combination of operating system and hardware that I've used. Like together it works just perfectly well. So this looks more like a proper control panel. So Morphos Preferences, we go to screen. Here we have our GPU settings, screen resolution. If I click open, then I can see the screen, so you can probably manage multiple GPUs here, multiple displays. Blanker. Aha, that's a screensaver. Okay, so we have a bunch of screensavers here that you can choose. No thanks. In sound, so you can pick up different here, how it's called? I think warning sounds, I guess. And you can flash a display or play a sound when there's a warning. Pretty cool. Font. So the system, the basic system font. You can pick LSD, anti-aliasing, normal, light. Don't know the difference. Eye control. So this is keyboard shortcuts to manipulate windows. So if I do, for example, Control, Left, Alt, and B would turn the display off, and so on. Boot pick. So this is the picture that shows up during the boot process. Exactly. So it picks up the system information here according to those variables and shows it during boot. This is incredibly customizable. Display engine. So instead of dumping the frame buffer every time the screen refreshes, then you can use double or triple buffers to make everything smoother, but of course it uses more CPU and GPU. I guess if you have a very low-end system, you can still set it in a way that you get good performance no matter what. Very cool. Network. Classic network settings. Loopback interface is enabled. You have DHCP, host and DNS. Advanced network card settings can be chosen here. I guess this is in Windows you do in the device manager or in the registry, and on the Mac I have absolutely no idea. Okay, we have to pause the video for now. Alright, we were here in network, so next we have open URL. Here you can associate applications to, you can create an email handler, FTP, miscellaneous. So that's how you process URLs. You can configure an application here, parameters, and so on. Incredibly customizable. Users. I guess you can create users here in groups. So okay, multiple people sharing a machine, but nothing like a domain controller or anything like this. But you have user IDs and group IDs, which is very unique. Not sure what the permission model is. Maybe it's POSIX. In hosts, you can, instead of editing your hosts file, you can enter the information here. net printer, so you can add the printer. So LPR, LPD, or direct print. I will try later on adding my printer. SFS, so this is storage, so you can create cache for your volumes. Very customizable. Not sure what the criteria is for this, but here we have it. Time settings. So you can set up NTP, time zone, and so on. In log, what do we get? You can send the log files to a file or a remote console via serial port, and you can queue a task if it fails more than 20 times, or -1 alerts. I guess that disables the putting the application to sleep. Really cool. So you can customize how the system handles when the application misbehaves, and quite interesting. Or so I think. Debug. So you can choose here what you log. Quite interesting and very customizable again. Locale, so this is country, keyboard, basically input. Audio, so here you have your audio devices, and it seems that you can just choose to ignore an audio device or dump things to files, which is cool. So I guess when you have an application, you want to record a file, you just have to output it to this audio sync, instead of requiring the application to be designed for recording. That's what it looks like, and in any case, very interesting and customizable as always. Keyboard layout, delay before starting to repeat and how often it repeats. USB, then you get Poseidon USB stack, so you have all the messages of the USB subsystem here. I'm in love with the hub, wow! And the controller, so the Power Macs have 2 USB ports, and each one of them is in a USB bus. You can kill a bus or get some info. In devices, what you get, the speed of the device, so low is basically 1.5 Mbps, the rest running at 11. So you have all the devices that are compatible, and it's class, yeah. So the monitor is a hub. My touch monitor is for nothing. You can get some information here, manufacturer and so on, so you get all the details from the device itself. You can see the same in Windows in Device Manager when you go to Properties, but nothing as organized and clear as this. You can choose to trust the device or not. You can disable pop-up when you connect it. Very customizable. Incredible. This is such a great system. All the classes you have drivers for, probably. PowerPC, I think Pegasus, so that's a PowerPC workstation, I think. Cameras via PTP, and so on. The options, you can disable the device, power cycle, port when the hub when device disconnects. You can enable power saving, so on. You can write here your log options, then here you have how much memory is being used by the driver. What happens when you connect the device, if you get a pop-up or not. So here I get a pop-up only on error, and that's why I saw earlier on a pop-up when I disconnected my webcam. So you can always you can choose the level of interaction the system has with you regarding USB. This is so cool. And here everything that I have connected, so there's a webcam, mouse, and so on. Printer. Another printer control panel. I guess I can add a printer here if there is no driver. Okay, let's see, Lexmark. Okay, no Lexmark, but I guess I can find a later a PostScript driver and use it. And you can configure the printer options here. Size management, how you print graphics. I have no idea what true match correction is, but you can adjust color here. How you process text. Yeah, PostScript. Very cool. It's PostScript, but how to configure the printer, I don't know. It will be cool to manage to print eventually. Cache. Another hard drive cache. I don't understand, therefore I won't mess it up. The monitors, you can choose. Here are all the listed available, all the available modes are listed, and you can create new modes. Pretty cool. And I guess you can customize. Yeah. So you can enter the parameters of your monitor in case it's not detected properly. I haven't seen this since the Windows 95 days, I guess. And that is all. Let's see the programs. So let's start with system folder. And let's go to applications. The first one is a PDF, and this is PDF Viewer. So let's open the test PDF and see what happens. There's a test page here, but I'm not sure why I can't see it full screen. But you can zoom in and out manually, and yeah, renders PDF fine, renders multiple fonts, works as designed. There's a guide file here that opens the native help system from Morphos. Pretty cool. Looks like enhanced man files, like it's just a man file but with links. Benchmark. There's an option to check your disk speed. Okay, not interested right now. And there's this SCSI speed. And that looks the same. What does the guide say? So just a port of this application by Michael Zins. Okay, fine. Let's see the next here, GFX speed. Graphic cards benchmark, and you can select what you want to see. We're not going to run this now. Flacapella. This is an application to rip disks. We're going to look into it later. Then you get Flow Studio. And Flow Studio is an IDE. So you can build your project. Yeah. Pretty cool. Get a console, debug log. Let's see the menu bar. Wow, looks very complete. Reminds me of Xcode a lot. You can record scripts. So Windows used to have this functionality in the past, I think. So you click record, you do some actions, and then they actually become a script. There are different themes for it. API reference. But I don't have the SDK disk inserted, so I guess this is something I have to look into later. I wonder how I can mount network storage. Debugger, spell checker, color picker, code formatter. You can look at things, you can find the match bridge, so it's very easy to navigate back and forth on your code. This menu bar thing is super incredibly annoying, to be honest with you. And where are the settings? Ugh. No preferences. Here, settings. Editor settings. This is an incredibly complete application. Good job. I'm always very surprised by these complex projects that are maintained by a single person. Quite unbelievable. Alright. Jalapeno. Jalapeno is a CD burner. Then you get Cryptos. What? You can create encrypted volumes. I'm going to spend so much time exploring this. It's crazy. There are a lot of things. Key files. Let's see. How to use Cryptos. All right. Let's see what's next. LCD monitor test. That's probably only to show dead pixels and etc. So let's see. Yes. We have a red screen, a green screen, and it's enough. Log tool. Okay, so here is where we see the log output of things. But I don't know why I have all these errors. Doesn't matter too much. OWB. This is a web browser. Okay. That looks like Safari. I mean, that's why they used to this was a web browser, because Safari is also like the icon is a compass, and here is a compass. Takes a while to start up. Okay, so it's the first thing that's not fast on the system, but you know, the modern internet is such a ball of hurt and heavy that, you know, it doesn't really matter all that much. This is expected, you know. Odyssey web browser. Search the internet. Wikipedia. renders fine. Let's click on Wikipedia. Let's go for English. Renders okay, I guess. Let's try something heavier, and I hope I won't regret this. Seriously? Alright, let's try again with 3 Ws. Now I think I want to push the G4 now very far on with this. I'm not sure YouTube will load, but here things remain usable. So I guess I can explore this later. Wow, it closes fast. Very good. Our desktop. You can connect to Microsoft remote desktops. They copied the interface just as it is. Then we have remote shell. SSH. Let's see. Looking good. Scandal. Aha, so a generic Twine driver for scanners. No scanner is detected, as the name is bizarre. Back. Showcase. Showcase is a you can process images in some way. I think I need to read the guide because I don't know what it's supposed to do. Introduction. So, image viewer for someone who needed his own image viewer. I like people with a can-do attitude. The requirements are Morphos 2.4 and basically it. And it hasn't been developed for more than 10 years. Sketch. Sketch, really pretty icons here. You can paint, something like paintbrush. You have some settings, and yeah, you can see that I'm not going through the menus of any application, but I'm gonna deep dive into each one of them as time goes. So yes, I'm sure I want to quit. Next, Synergy, and this is client or server. Okay, I have no idea. Mouse and keyboard sharing server. Alright. Whatever. Goodbye. And I can see that I really need to quit applications just like macOS, because the applications are open here. So they're just turning into icons just like Windows 3.1. Transfer. Transfer is a FTP or SSH file browser thing. We are going to explore it later eventually. Yeah, SFTP application. Next, VNC server, this we have running here. You can kick and ban clients, which is cool. You will have the protocol of the client, resolution, and you can set up here port, passwords, and etc. You have also like IP whitelist, which is convenient. You can filter to LAN only. That's probably just gonna be the same subnet. And that's it. Hope I didn't kill it. No, I didn't. VPDF is another PDF viewer, I assume. Let's try to load the file. I have a test file up here in APDF. Let's try that one. You can mark, scroll, browse pages, but probably do nothing much else. One more, please. Okay, let's move this out of the way. VNC is going to be a VNC client, and it's good because we went to the applications. And yes, I'm gonna watch some TV with my girlfriend, and tomorrow we will continue exploring Morphos, or at least showcasing the applications that come with it. Thanks for watching. Alright, a few days have passed and my computer that is disconnected to parallel ATA to serial ATA adapter, and it would sometimes disconnect because it's just hanging inside the G4, but I couldn't get it back running. So we go back here, and thankfully the applications are all very small, so everything loads fast from the CD, and this is a live CD boot. Last time we went through all the applications, so now we are back to classes, and here we have blankers, data types, gadgets, MUI, multimedia, and screen bar. In blankers, these are screensavers. Let's see if you can run any of them. No? Data types, gadgets, MUI. All these directories seem to be blank. So let's go to the next folder. And I'm sorry for the background noise because it's just the G4, my Mac Pro is recording and the G4 is extremely loud. Going to devs, in data types, blank, DOS drivers, blank, key maps, blank. So we go to docs. We have here a bunch of documents. Let's see. In audio PDF, we have what? Connector schematics. So this is probably for the Pegasus board. I'm not gonna go through this, it doesn't really matter. Let's see games. In games we have Diamonds, Minesweeper, and Pixel Cross. The Diamonds, I'm afraid this is the kind of the game I cannot play because I'm colorblind. Apparently Einstein, Tesla, and Michelangelo played this together with R.M. Buffet, and why is him in the same list I have no idea. But here we are. We go start, and I have 97 seconds remaining, so I just find it similar, and for me this is pure torture. But let's try. I think I need to find them 3 by 3, so 3 and 3 and then 3. I don't know how it should not let me move. 2 by 2 also works. It's quite confusing. Anyway, here we have diamonds. The next game shipped with the system is Minesweeper, and same players. If we start, it's just Morphos release of the Mine game. Next one is Pixel Cross. Let's try Pixel Cross. If it will load. Warning, this game may be addictive. Before getting to the real action, this tutorial needs to be accomplished. So let's start the tutorial. Thinking game, crossword puzzle without words, and Sudoku using pictures instead of numbers. The main task is to uncover pixel graphics without making mistakes. Whatever. Doesn't matter. I guess the help has more instruction how to play this. Requirements. Morphos is required. Introduction. Simple and addictive mind game. Known bugs. Probably has some issues. Yeah, for sure. Some email here to contact the author. Doesn't matter. Next, we have preferences. Let's start with MUI. Double clicking opens the MUI preferences. We've seen this menu before, so I'll skip this. In preferences, we have the system preferences. We have seen those already. MUI GFX, nothing. Preferences pointers, nothing. Skins, nothing. So we go back to Morphos boot and tools. Defrag. This is going to be a defragmenter, but it's not detecting my disk, so I cannot show you. File image control. So here I can mount image files. Yeah, I can mount image files. Format, so that I can probably format devices, but it's not detecting anything, so no luck. FTM manager, that's probably a font manager. I'm not sure it's gonna do anything being booted from the CD. HD config. I can't because, well, there is no hard drive detected. Installer, so this will probably allow me to... Aha, so when you want to install a program, then you can point the system to the installation script here, and it's going to run the script and install the program into a disk. Quite interesting. That should be something like add and remove programs back in the Windows 95, 98 days. I don't know anyone who actually used that instead of just, following auto run or, going to the media and installing from there. iWizard. That's the installation wizard. Mounter. I can, so here you get a device, then you can see the partitions and you can mount them. And if the mount list, I would say that you can automate this process probably. MUI shell, so that's the shell. So the only thing I managed to figure out was ifconfig. And nothing else. I would need really to go to the instructions, and if I right click on the title bar, then you get many options here, and I'm gonna document them thoroughly later on when I dive deep into Morphos. Netstat. So here It's basically a GUI for Netstat. You can see your interfaces, your connections, the routes, your IP information, statistics, TCP and UDP statistics. There are some tools here to how often it refresh, to resolve things. PFS Doctor, so this is I think if you delete things by accident, you can unformat, check and repair disk, so to probably verify the integrity of the file system. Reg tool. So to register Morphos, I will do this eventually when I'm ready to dive deep, and I intend to run this for a week as my main workstation. Let's see if I will survive. Scout. I have no idea what this is about. So you can, this looks like the memory address of applications and Windows, and you can execute and tasks that are running, so some sort of activity monitor or task manager. You can see that most of the CPU usage is being done by the VNC server. You have a network kernel also using a lot, and you can see that most applications use very little CPU, and they are assigned different priorities here, but they seem to, you can see Windows associated to each application, and yet so quite detailed. Resource monitor plus task manager, yeah. Pretty cool. The Enforcer. Very nice. Next here we have Csv Doctor, and these will get us to another disk repair utility, and you can load backups as well, but cannot show you more because I don't have fixed storage. Shell. Opens the shell again. What's the difference between MUI shell and shell? I don't know. Let's see. This one seems to have more functionality than this one. Very well. Snoopium. Functions. Setup. So you can output debug information wherever you want. You can probably create, you can create you can choose parameters to scan, and then you can output them to serial ports to process them externally, and so on. I know that Windows could do that at some point in time. It would load debug kernel, and it would output everything to a serial port. I know that you can do this with Windows CE. Interesting nonetheless. Theme manager. This is a font manager. And can't see anything, but it's here. Deja Vu Sans see if I can see it better. No, I can't. But you can see your fonts, and the system comes with 81 fonts. Unit control. So this is another device manager. If you have multiple optical drives, you can probably control them from here. Probably mount and mount. Very basic. Everything here is very basic, but seems to be very functional. Utilities. Alright, now we are speaking. In commodities we have exchange, and we've seen this before, so you can, I don't know what exchanges are, but you can look into settings of different applications or system components. And if we go to MIDI, there's a MIDI piano that doesn't, I cannot hear anything, but you can choose the channels. So I guess if you have an external MIDI synthesizer, you can, the synthesizer will process the messages on the channel that you choose and play whatever it's supposed to play. Well, cool, I guess. Then we have audio recorder. So this is another recorder, but I don't have an audio input here, so I cannot do anything with it. Clock. It is a clock. Fantastic. Gonna be there. Csv Viewer. That's probably a CSV file viewer. I don't have one here, but I guess it's gonna work as designed. Editor. This is a simple text editor. Copy paste, browse different files, look into it, save, load, and create a new file. There are some functions here. Yeah. Simple text editor, indeed simple. Grabber. So this, you can make screenshots probably. Let's try. Yes. So I just made a screenshot of this window, and I can save it, for example, in my RAM disk. I can call it what tabs, and it's saved in RAM. Graphic boards. So this will show my GPU information. So I have a Radeon 9000. The driver is quite recent, maintained up to 2020. So they've been doing this for 19 years. 64 megs of RAM, and it does the job. Jukebox. I guess you can add sound files here in sequence, and they will just play. Simple, effective, and I wish there were more applications like this. Key Explorer. Key map with the key code. Useful for programmers, useless for anyone else. More. More does what? There's no special menu, and I have no idea what it's supposed to do. Pro calculator. So there is a calculator with different modes and some more advanced functions. I don't know how to use those, so nothing to see here. Wow, there are quite many options here. Multi-view. So in multi-view you can open files and so you can see some specific kind of file and do things with them. Mystic view. Okay. And what do I do with this? I can open. This should be some sort of picture viewer. Oh yeah, it's a slideshow viewer. And can you do anything with it? Yeah, you can create presentations, I guess, or see, not presentation, but see pictures in sequence and add some effects to them. Not much, but yeah, you could probably go through you have a folder with many pictures, you can see them. Task manager, so these we have all the tasks that are running, separated by CPU usage. Yeah, I know that it can see two CPUs, but it doesn't seem to use both of them, because you know, when VNC is eating 80% of CPU, then I don't have anything else to spare, so I don't know. I don't know much about how this OS works to have an idea. Zoom zooms into screen elements. Apple ships such kind of application with macOS, and those are utilities. Yeah, and what else? WB startup, we have a mixer and first flight, so this loads on boot, and I think that's it. So when you install Morphos, this is what you get on boot, and I guess I mean, I don't know too much about this, but it's a light system, works, does the job, and I guess we'll explore it a bit more before using it for a week as my main OS. I need to find out how to mount remote storage, or I would perhaps just use some USB device. Since everything's so small anyway, it doesn't matter that it's only USB 1. I might have some FireWire disk somewhere there that I could use if it's detectable. And yeah, I'll see you next time, and let's see, when I'm ready to spend a week with this, I will. Have a good day.